Hey guys, I'm just going to go ahead and walk you through my code here real quick. So, starting on the JSON data page in our onGet method, which is a JSON result. So, this is just going to go ahead and return an array of JSON data to the web page, so it can be consumed by other people's websites, or I'm actually going to use it. I'm going to go ahead and consume that data on our own website. So I'm just going to briefly walk you through each of my blocks of code here. This array list is going to be going to contain our output, so I'm just going to go ahead and declare that up front. First, we're going to download our JSON data from the Cincinnati website into a string here, and download our JSON schema into an object. We're going to parse our JSON string into an array. I'm going to go ahead and declare this string here to keep track of any data that doesn't validate. It's gonna we can go ahead and look through that if there's any validation issues. But assuming everything's checks out okay, we'll validate that JSON object here. And if it validates, we're going to move all of our data into a string of usable objects here. And then we're essentially just going to do the same exact thing for all of our property data. Just get it all validated and pulled here into a string of objects. Once we get our property data into, I'm sorry, not a string, but a list of objects. Once we get that list of objects, we're going to go ahead and filter out all of the properties that are not vacant, and then order those properties by neighborhood. So once we have all of our data into lists of usable objects, we're going to go ahead and loop through that data, and we're going to put each of those neighborhoods and the corresponding vacant properties into this new data array list. So first we're going to check, make sure the property is vacant, and then we're going to move each of those properties. If they are vacant and they match with the neighborhood here, we're going to move them into this new prop array list. And then we're going to take the neighborhood data and the new prop array list, and we're going to move those into this new data array list, and then we're going to add that array list as an object to the output array list that I declared first. And then we're going to return that output array list as the JSON result. You can view this data on our website /JSON data. That'll be our JSON output. So next I'm going to go to our index page here. This is where we go ahead and consume that validated data. So that's going to happen inside this load data function. This is like a jQuery function inside of a script tag on our HTML page here. So first we'll go ahead and call that load data function. Let's go down here. So we're using Ajax to get that data, and then we're going to go through each of those objects in the JSON output here using this .each function, and we're going to push them into this array here at the top called data list. And this is where all the data is going to live on our page. So we're going to go through each one, and we're going to push that data list. We're going to push each of those items into the data list, and we're going to go ahead and append this HTML data list with each of those options. So this HTML data list is going to have essentially going to be our drop-down menu. So you can go ahead and view each of those neighborhoods when you're trying to search them by name. So here we are appending all of those neighborhood names into our HTML data list. And I went ahead and logged that out in the console just to make sure we had a working data list there. So once we have all that data in the data list, you can use this input here. This is where you're going to be able to use the drop down, type in your neighborhood name, select it, and then click this submit button right here. with the search value. And then what that's going to do, once you on this, we have a JSON on click function here for that submit button that is going to take our search term from that input, and it is going to go ahead and scan through our data list and find the object that matches the search term. And then it's going to go ahead and append our search out table here. That's a table up at the top of the page with a header and the name of the neighborhood. And then it's going to go through that data list, and it's going to go into the properties section of the array, go through each of those objects, and then append the table again with each of the vacant property data. And this is actually left over from some other code, so we can get rid of that. Yeah, and so that's how the search function works. You can go ahead and search as many different neighborhoods as you want, and it'll continue to append this output table. And then once you want to clear all the data you've pulled onto the page, you can use this clear function here, or clear button, which calls this on-click function, which just empties that table. So that is how we load our data, validated output, loaded onto our page, and then search through it. And then lastly, I'm going to quickly go through the our consumption of our classmates' data. So what we're just going to go ahead and assume that that data is already pre-validated because they're doing the same project as us. So first we're just going to bring that brewery data into a string. We're going to move that string data into a list of usable objects of breweries. And then we are going to use this view data to be able to view that and use it on the HTML page. So let's go ahead and find that classmates data HTML page right here. So you can see up here at the top, we're moving that that brewery data into this breweries variable, and then we just kind of had a simple way to view this data here. Here we're going to use this for each loop to go through each brewery. We're going to add the brewery name to the top of the table, and then we're going to go into that brewery object a little deeper into the reviews, and we're going to go ahead and append our table with each of the review data. You can see that we have the user's name, the review rating, and the text from the review, and that's going to be underneath each of the brewery names. And then once it hops out of this for each, it'll go to the next brewery here at the top. Just give us a simple data table so you can view that data on the web page in a tabular format. And you can view this data on our Azure website / classmates JSON. And thank you very much.